Book 1, Law of Salimi, Chapter 47, My Love-Hate Relationship. Respondent 003 once asked me in 2010, in your opinion, would it possible for a true Muslim to be a millionaire? I did give her a poor answer at that time. 4 years later, I acquired a better answer which I wrote on a social network as follows. 4 years ago, a professor asked me whether it is possible to have a millionaire in an ideal Islamic nation. I answered no, because if every Muslim practice a true Islamic teachings in an ideal Islamic nation, there will be no millionaire Muslim, except when everyone else, that is the poor people, have become millionaire themselves. My evidence, look at the Sahabat of Prophets who are millionaires. When they embrace Islam, all of their wealth is given to the path of Islam. Ideally, if everyone practice as such, there will be no millionaire in ideal Islamic nation. Just sharing my view. This answer was posted on April 11, 2014. This view should be suffice to explain my present perception towards money, materialism, and hedonism. Is this the right view of Islam? I do not know. The notion was cultivated in my life based on my understanding on the teachings of Islam, even though I was having the exact opposite perspective about money before I was asked that question in 2010. In fact, the main reason that I chose to study in Diploma in Business Study at UiTM campus Manggatal after studying Science Stream program at Maktab Sabah was due to the fact that I want to be a multi-millionaire at a very young age. What would I do with millions of money? This was one of my life's ultimate goals and dreams that I had since I can remember, probably when I was in primary school. This is a picture of a motorcycle. I would love to have one of these, the Yamaha YZF R7 or Honda 1000RR, which was nicknamed as the Rabbit in this RCV 211 color scheme as shown in the picture below. This is the RC211V from Honda motorcycle. Ever since that I had started working after graduating in 2004, I worked hard to repay all of my debt in my life and tried my best to practice the concept of moderation living, which followed Islam as a way of life. However, it had been my dream since my childhood to actually save enough money to make a purchase of these glorious machines. I was not greedy. I just need to own one in order to make my life feeling fulfilled. As I said, I had dreams for these as early as I was in primary school or at the age of 7 years old. After paying all of my debts from my student loans, I started to save up my money in order to fulfill this particular dream. I do not wish to take up loans in order to purchase my rabbit, but I would rather save up my money and pay for cash, which was around Rm100,000 of price range. During my PhD research, I had finally saved up enough to actually own my rabbit. I was very excited thinking though about it, which made me unable to sleep with exhilaration to finally make this dream to come true. Throughout the whole night, I made every possible computation regarding the purchase of my rabbit. During the time I was in the midst of studying through my books for my PhD research, which consists of understandings about the teachings of Islam, I knew that Islam do not prohibit such purchase, considering I had the money which was earned through halal or permissible means based on the teachings of Islam. Soon, I started to rationalize my desire to purchase the rabbit. Next, I began to justify my action on making the purchase. Essentially, I had no reason prohibiting my purchase of the rabbit. However, my guts were telling me that I simply shouldn't do it. The only reason offered for not making the purchase was the fact that I was unable to honestly justify why exactly should I own a rabbit when I only need a transportation for the purpose of continuing, which could be easily fulfilled by any motorcycle. Why do I need the rabbit? That was the question that kept on lingering in my mind and made me hesitated to make the purchase with the cash that I had saved for such a long duration of time in my life. I kept telling myself that there was nothing wrong with buying the superbike with the money that I earned according to the teachings of Islam. It was permissible and halal for me to purchase the superbike, yet my guts disagreed. Damn you guts, why are you disagreeing with me from fulfilling my lifelong dreams? I started to ask the questions in a more rational manner using my understanding on the teachings of Islam. Do I want the rabbit? Yes, absolutely I want it. I absolutely want it. Do I need the rabbit? Of course, I might. Well, not really. I could still commute using a much cheaper motorcycle. No, I hate to finally arriving at this conclusion where I really want the rabbit, but I do not necessarily need it. As a person who claimed to have chosen the path of a scholar to pursue knowledge and practice a true Islam as a way of life, I knew that I had to do the right thing in my life. I need to live my life in moderation, which would be defied by buying the rabbit. I hate the decision so much, but it was the right decision based on my understanding about the teachings of Islam. Islam does not want a Muslim to be tied or bound with material wealth in this world. I should focus my efforts towards preparing myself for the afterlife. I must not fall in love with materialism and hedonism because my understanding about the teachings of Islam had said so. Moreover, I do what I said and I say what I did. With that as my motto in life, I had to act according to what I had said, which was to practice moderation as part of Islam as a way of life. It was much easier to simply say those things rather than actually having to put it into practice in my real life. Furthermore, buying extravagant and luxury items would not reflect the concept of moderation living, considering that there were many others who truly need the money. It would be much more appropriate to buy a second-hand motorcycle for around Rm2,000 ringgit, which while putting the remaining 98,000 ringgit into wakaf or sedekah jariyah, which can be translated as continuous donation. By doing so, it would be more suitable for someone who claimed to be living in moderation and practice Islam as a way of life. So, from the age of 7 years old to 27, I was in love with money and kept on dreaming to own a rabbit. When I began to learn more about understanding the teachings of Islam, I began to discover how I started to behave and think as a true Muslim based on the improved knowledge acquired during my lifetime. I am not saying that I had become a good Muslim, a good human being, but rather I consider myself to begin walking on the right path towards becoming a true Muslim. If you knew my home address and decided to visit me, you would not find a rabbit at my home because I did not make the purchase. You might find a second-hand bicycle, which I call my Chelsea Hikaru. Currently, I mostly commute with Chelsea Hikaru, which suited me considering I am in a huge debt, unemployed, and do not have any money. I am currently thinking of a way on how could I publish this book, because I cannot afford any editing services or even pay for publication services which seem to be interested with my books. After reading the sample manuscript sent, she said my story was interesting, unless I do not have any money to pay for her services to publish this book. I am currently considering to sell it on my own after converting it into e-book format. While I hate making money, I do need them to pay my debt of 120,000 ringgit, which could set me up for bankruptcy very soon. This present situation resembles the same predicament faced by J.K. Rowling when she wrote her first book of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I do not want to be millionaire or billionaire anymore. I wish to practice what I said in my post about billionaire in ideal Islam at the beginning of this chapter. I just wanted to pay off my debts and kept on writing to share my knowledge to as many human beings as possible all over the world. Any extra money should be given to Waqaf institution as encouraged by the teachings of Islam and following the true essence and spirit of Islam Tesi. I just do not wish to die without having to pay out my debt. That is all I wish by writing this book and hopefully hundreds of other books. I do not wish for admiration from anyone. I do not wish any status or popularity. I just want to help others via sharing of knowledge. With that said, I just need to say sayonara or goodbye to my lovely usagi or rabbit. For the sake of Islam, we were just not meant to be together. With that, it ends this chapter. Thank you very much for listening and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you and see you soon.